There, we're live on Facebook. Now I see it in Zoom and I'm just going to assume it's right. And I'm not going to say anything else.
Yeah, I don't know about this. I don't know if we're live or not.
And, good morning, everyone. It's Justin here with LethbridgeRealEstate.com, and we got Joel Cote over there with his co-star Nigel today. And
Nigel?
This is some Realtors Online Drinking Coffee. We got our game show host here as well.
And he's named correctly too this week. Yeah, that's awesome.
Exactly. So, quick question: what did you just drink there? I have a good one today.
Espresso. I am a creature of habit, and I need my espresso.
Okay, ready? My wife bought this. It's terrible, but it's actually it's medium. Pumpkin creamer. Wait, what's it called? Pumpkin spice creamer. Oh my gosh, it's terrible. She likes it, and she's like looking for more, and I'm just placating her, and it's like a pumpkin pie, fully a pumpkin pie drink in your mouth.
Nigel just said he threw up in his mouth a little bit.
No, I know. I'm drinking it. Not good. Even with delicious Folgers, it's just not the greatest thing ever. So, yeah. How's the week been?
Week's been busy. You know, I didn't even know that this was a long weekend until like Sunday night.
Yeah.
My wife's like, "Oh, what are we gonna do tomorrow?" I'm like, "It's Monday.
Go to work."
Yeah. I'm like, "Are you going to the office tomorrow?" She's like, "It's a long weekend." I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
It was actually kind of sad. Riders were supposed to be playing on Saturday or on Sunday.
And for everyone that doesn't understand that reference, can you explain what a rider is?
Oh, everyone understands.
They play
football. If they're smart enough to be watching us online, they're smart enough to be a Rider fan. That's just how it works.
Seems fair. I guess he's talking about CFL, which isn't starting, but
no, yeah, season's canceled. Actually, Andrea and I, we may watch NFL this year.
Starts tonight.
I know, but I got rid of TSA. We'll take this offline. I don't know who I should be cheering for. I think it's going to be Seattle.
Yikes.
But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I root for the people on my fantasy football team. So therefore you can root for like 12 different teams at a time. And then you're never wrong.
12 teams. There should be less than that in the
There should be 8 and 2 of them named the Rough Riders.
That's old. There's not 2 teams by the same name anymore.
How do you play a 16-game season against 8 people? That's just amazing.
See, one team was the Rough Riders, right? Yeah. The Saskatchewan Rough Riders, one word.
Yeah.
The other team were the Ottawa Rough Riders, 2 words, hyphenated.
2 words.
Yeah.
Thanks. There's a good comedian bit about that somewhere. I remember seeing
there used to be a Simpsons there was a Simpsons episode where the Riders, they were watching CFL and the Riders were playing the Riders. Yes. And it was a big thing. And I don't know if this is true or not, but in Regina growing up there, the urban legend around that episode was that one of the writers for the Simpsons is from Moose Jaw.
Oh, that's possible.
But I don't know if that's true or not. So
they had lots of different writers. Gosh, that's a hard word.
I know.
Okay, well, what I want to do today, we have a couple fun topics. So we're going to do a September so far, what's happening in the market. I saw an interesting post about commissions that another agent posted. I thought that's an interesting one. So I want to talk about that because a lot of people are too scared to talk about like how we talked about the last week, how we work. And also we don't work for free, but we also don't work for billions of dollars like some people think. So it's somewhere in the middle there between billions and zero. And so I found a fun post about that. And then we want to talk a little bit about what buyer's agents should be able to see in a house before you get to the inspection. So you're not surprised when you show up at the inspection, you're like, what? I didn't know the roof was bad. And you're like, we walked up to this house, like the roof is right there, right? So little things like that, we'll talk about that. And then we'll have a quick real estate game, which I believe is themed for hockey tonight, which, I guess people watch hockey, but football's tonight. And I think game show host missed a trick there, but that's okay. Let me share my screen and do a September so far here. Where are you, Google? There you are. Okay, so I just went back to see, this is Lethbridge. I should add Coledale in here, or we'll do Coledale next, but active, pending, and sold since the beginning of September. Let's see here. We've got 630 on the market, so that's hovering pretty close to where it normally is, or where it has been for the last few weeks. 33 have received conditional offers with an average conditional price of 304, and 64 have sold already in the last 10 days. So that puts us on pace for 250. No, that's 200 deals for September. So that's not too shabby. And you can see the average sold price is 310. So the prices have on the sold side have come back down. I thought they would jump up to that 350 because of a bunch of these 300s from last week, but I guess we'll see when these ones go final, then will this price jump to 330, 350? So
if you look at the solds, sorry to cut you off, Justin. If you look at the solds today, I was going through, there was a bunch, and I'd say 80% of them are over 350, which is crazy.
Oh, really? Let's just look at the last. So this is the last 3 days. There's 26 in the last 3 days. That's crazy. Yeah, 334, 338 median. So yeah, okay. So it is creeping up. So I was that's what I figured would happen is these ones right here would start to receive offers because a lot of the 300s were selling. So that makes sense. And then hopefully you'll see a bunch of these 350s to 400 sell, and then maybe some more in the 500s right there. So yeah, interesting a week so far. 54 new listings hit the market this week. Yeah, so it's looking pretty good here. Sold 59 in the last 7 days. That's pretty crazy, actually. So it's looking good. We're having a good September to follow up a crazy August. So and then I probably want to see this because Coledale has popped into my mind here. Some people were asking about Coledale, and they've had a pretty decent. There's not a ton of inventory out there right now, as I remember. Stats tabular. Yeah, 56. That's all that's available in Coledale right now with an average price of 383. So there's that's a crazy number. 5 have offers on it, and only 7 have sold this month. So they're not even getting a sale a day right now. So I wonder if that's a little bit shy for Coledale. But with 7 out of 56, that's 1/8 of the entire inventory has sold in the last 10 days. So pretty crazy stuff over there. So any thoughts on the market?
No, I'm just this year, this time of year is really different for me than previous years, and I'm trying to figure out not which way is up, because that makes it sound like I don't know what's going on at all. But it's just so different that I really don't know what to make of it. I think, like we talked last year or last week, we have a decent idea of why, but yeah, I guess until it ends, we don't really know why.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to look back on 2020, and hopefully this year is over soon enough, and look at the numbers, and maybe it's the exact same. Maybe nothing really happened. I've been doing this thing where I don't read the news for 5 days, and my life feels great after that. And then people are like, did you hear about this? I'm like, no, I didn't. And it's awesome. And I don't care. And right now with kids going back to school, don't read the news, because I think 2 people got sick, and they're like, that is the definition of an outbreak. And you're like, okay, well, now I give up. If we're reporting every time 2 people get sick, I can't read the news anymore. So I just don't want the fear mongering to keep going for 2020. So this is why it's nice to see these numbers being higher, because it's like, are we really devastated right now? Some people are, but some people aren't. So, got to take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, once we get into 2021 or give us some distance from what we're doing right now, we'll be able to look back and start making some heads and tails of what happened this year.
Yeah, no, I agree. Okay, I'm gonna bring you this post I just saw here. I'm not trying to say anything bad about anyone here, but I had a funny thought on this post. So someone just posted, oh, this one sold for $317,900. Boom, we sold it and saved our clients thousands. There's no reference to why they saved their clients thousands. There is one newer company in town that is claiming they save you thousands of dollars with their commission structure. But then I was thinking, like, hey, I know that block. Hey, I sold a house 9 houses down from there in 14 days on the market for $340. And you sold this one for I'll round up to $318 to be generous. same square footage, same beds, same bath, same developed basements, double garages, both built in 2004 on the same street, 9 houses apart. Did you save your clients thousands of dollars or cost them $22,000? So math is very important when it comes to our industry, and being new in the industry is fine. I mean, we want new members in our industry all the time, but maybe you should do some market research on, did you actually save someone money or did you cost them money? And I looked at, by the way, ours wasn't the worst or best house on the block. It kind of had the original 2004 colors and carpets and things like that, and it was very comfortable. This one that sold for 320 or 318 had looked like newer floors and paint and stuff. So have you run into this a lot where you hear people saying like, oh, I've saved our clients thousands of dollars?
Yeah, the thing about real estate is it's all about perception. Not only like, well, what your realtor, any realtor claims, but it's all like if the clients feel that they've saved themselves thousands of dollars because certain bits of information wasn't available to them or was omitted, then yeah, the clients are going to think that. I had a client. I just kind of ran into him on the street, so I guess it wasn't really a client, a guy I knew. Anyway, right. we actually had his house, or a friend of his house, listed, and it was way overpriced. We had it listed for a lot of money. Didn't sell it. Renewed it. We didn't sell it. And all of a sudden they dropped the price by like $100,000 and sold it in 3 days. And now all of a sudden it's like, well, you guys couldn't sell it. It's like, nobody could at that price. Right. But the perception is we couldn't get the job done, which isn't the case. Yeah. And somebody did for $100,000 less. It's like, is that really comparing apples and oranges? I mean, their perception is their perception and their reality is their reality, but they're omitting a key piece of information. So, yeah, I mean, unless like in a situation like that, I don't know.
Well, and there's a good company in town that does this, and they say, hey, we save people money compared to if you were to pay them X. So I totally get that. Like if you said, hey, if you're going to pay someone 5%, which is pretty rare these days, but let's say that really high end, you're paying someone 5%, like you see on TV, and then you're doing it for 3 or 3.5. Yeah, you're saving them some money. This company isn't saying compared to what. So like, how can you? It's so silly, like to say that in social media and marketing. Like I saved someone thousands of dollars. Well, unless you count the fact that the house in November, just down the street in the winter months, sold for $22,000 more. And anyway, it's hard to complain. You don't compare people's pricing, right? Because there's Walmart pricing and there's Gucci pricing, and we totally get that, right? So, but I always tell people, hey, listen, we are never the most expensive company in town, and we're never going to be the cheapest. So we're somewhere in the middle there. We'll always offer discounts to clients. Let's say you're buying or you're selling and then buying, we always offer some discounts. Fire department, police, city Lethbridge workers, anything, RCMP, we offer tons of discounts to big companies like that. So it's interesting when they're just comparing it to nothing in the ether. We saved you thousands of dollars. Sure,
Did
me
you
too.
though? Yeah. Did you?
Yeah.
That's like the story I told you before with I used to have a few retail store. I used to have a retail store and I used to manage retail stores. And every once in a while we'd have like a buy one, get one 50% off sale. And it's something I'd always do with clients, kind of half joking, but it would actually work most of the time. They buy a suit or a pair of shoes and it's like, well, if you buy another one, you'll get 50% off. And then you follow it up with, what are you going to do with those savings? It's retail getting some feedback. Weird. But same thing. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, it's just the perception of being able to save money, but compared to what?
Yeah. So I thought it was interesting, and actually, it was another realtor that said that to me. So I was out there hunting. I don't give a crap. I just thought it was funny to be like, wait a minute. And as soon as someone sent it to me, I was like, oh, I know I just sold one on that block. So I was just like, oh, I love it. That's the best, because it's so hard to compare exactly the same house, right? Like if I sold Joel's house, there is literally no other house in town like that. So I could say I made Joel $200,000, but really Joel's hard work made Joel that much money. But when you are selling cookie cutter homes on the same block, it is nicer to get that just a little closer to, the exact same. And a lot of the builders, they smack up the same model exactly 9 houses down. So this was just a fun one. I'm not trying to rag on anyone in their business model, but you should shop for prices. Like, okay, what's a good commission? What will I pay? I want to pay 6-7%. Might not want to pay 2%, right? There's a range. Like, where do I want to be that I'm going to get the best service for the best value? Somewhere in the middle always seems to work. And then you want to compare, make sure they're doing a market analysis so that you would realize that the exact same neighbor just sold for 340. Because I'd be really ticked if I were watching this right now and I realized, how did that neighbor sell for so much more? And it's not like this one was on the market for that long. It was like a month. So anyway, hold on to your money.
And maybe a lot of people don't know that. Maybe this is a good time for a little bit of a sales pitch, and not necessarily for us and our team, but interview agents, whether you're buying or you're selling. We will talk to you. We will sit down. We will give you the information. We'll give you everything that you need to know to make the decision that's right for you going forward. And whether that decision is us from a buying standpoint or us from a selling standpoint, call us, interview us, talk to us. If you like us and we fit your vibe, awesome. If not, there are a lot of other agents in town too that can help out, but just, talk to people, make the right decision.
I had one this week where they were interviewing a few other agents, and that's a good thing. Like I said, oh, good. Yeah. Like here's how we do it. Here's how we work. Here's our commission structure. Here's our marketing structure. Here's how many houses we sold in your neighborhood, blah, 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 blah. And it was a few hours later, that person called back and said, okay, we're going to go with you. So you want to make sure that you're getting all of the information, not just the fluff and buff. I'll save you money. Okay, cool. But how much am I going to walk away with? And as a seller, let's just talk about sellers. How much will I net in my pocket at the end of the day? And that's the important part. And can I prove to you that I can net you more money? Cool. And if that's not important to you, cool. I had that conversation with someone else this week. Is the money more important, or moving quicker more important? And you have to have all these conversations. So sometimes money is more important, but sometimes just getting to move on with your life is also important. So anyway.
And at the end of the day, not to beat a dead horse, but at the end of the day, even though this process, buying or selling, is stressful and a big deal, it should be fun. And I know me personally, when people are interviewing me as a buyer's agent, and I know that they're interviewing 3, 4, 5, 6, however many other people, and they choose to go with me at the end of the day, I feel better about it knowing that they've made a decision. They are where they want to be. And it's a lot more fun that way too.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I think we talked about that last week. Don't sign call. Just call Joel. Don't surf around. Jeez. People. Okay, let's jump in. I know
or the like. Yeah.
You have a possession today, so we got to get moving here. But we have our real estate game, hockey themed. Whoa, can you see that there? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we had Dallas versus Vegas. Game show host, give us a rundown of this Dallas bungalow. I think
this is 1910 Danube Bay Drive in Dallas. It's a 3-bed, 2.5-bath, 1,868 square foot home sitting on a 7,300 square foot lot. It's been completely remodeled and torn down. It's got an open concept kitchen, new granite countertops, subway tile backsplash, stainless steel appliances, a brand new master bathroom with double granite sink, glass shower walls and sitting room. You can look at the new hardware engineered flooring and charcoal new roof. Interior and exterior have fresh coats of paint on them. Spend your evenings with a private backyard porch surrounded by the brand new wood fence. Other updates include new windows, new garage sliding door, new HVAC system, and ductwork.
Okay, Joel, go first. I have a number already locked in.
I'm sorry. I was completely distracted by the pictures.
Like,
does this not look fake?
Yeah, 100%. Like, also, everyone knows my OCD. If you ever shopped a house with me, you see the flooring like this, I'll point. They just did that themselves. Just cut the first piece. I'm not even a flooring installer. Just take the first piece out of the box, blindly cut it, and then start laying your top. And then these will never happen. Anyway, rant over. Sorry.
Well, and like, what's with the ceiling there? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay. I have a number. You you go first because I think mine's pretty good.
Oh man,
I think he's trying to trick us. How about I say that?
oh yeah, probably. I'm gonna say it's 600,000.
It's Dallas. I've been to Texas, so just a little humble brag there. You will drive down Texas, and there will be a mansion, and then a shanty, and then a cabbage patch on the exact same block. And I'm like a literal cabbage patch. Like someone's like, well, I didn't build a house here, so I'm going to grow cabbages. I'm gonna say, I mean, ever watch those shows? I don't know. I could be way off here. I'll be embarrassed when this is done. Even those lights are terrible. The countertop's terrible. The cabinets are the original, just painted. You see those shows, and they're like, I bought a trailer for $800, and I put in $900, and I sold it for $22,000. So I'm gonna say $359,900.
Justin's way closer today, but you're both way overpaying for this property.
I knew it.
233.
Oh, I feel so much better now. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm so happy that 600 grand and 350,000 is way overpriced.
Yeah. I was honestly gonna say 250, but I thought, well, maybe he picked one that's they're going through it. Also, that's why you got to move to Texas. Like no state taxes if you're in the state and live in the U.S. And Joe Rogan's moving to Texas. Like it's where to go.
I'd go to Austin. I think Austin fits mine and Andrea's vibe.
Yeah, it's a little hippy dippy still, but good place to be. Okay, Las Vegas. We've both frequented here, so game shows. Give us a rundown here.
This is 249 South Wallace Drive in Las Vegas. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1,900 square foot home sitting on a 9,500 square foot lot. It's on a corner lot, got a huge backyard with an outdoor pool. There's brand new tile and fresh paint throughout the house. Beautiful galley-style kitchen with upgraded cabinets. Perfect for entertaining. It's got a large living room and a wood-burning fireplace. Large master retreat with sitting area, office nook, and private access to the pool. Comes with 2 spacious secondary bedrooms, nice laundry room, and lots of storage.
I wonder how close it is to the Strip, because that would make a difference. This looks like a cool one you could buy for an Airbnb or something like that, hey? Like I've definitely stayed in homes like this while we've been in Vegas. So is this pool their pool or a community pool?
That's in the yard itself. That belongs to the house.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, it's fenced off. It's got a pool. Depending on the neighborhood though, this could be, oh, here we go. Okay. So you can see the Strip. There's Paris, I think over there. No, what's that?
That looks like that circus-ish area, right?
Yeah.
The stratosphere. Is that what it's called? Yeah.
So, yeah, cool. I just want to point out this, tons of scorpions live in here for sure. So you know, that hurts the value.
Yeah, go with the black light at night. It's awesome.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Okay, you went first last time. This house is not as good as the last house. It does have a pool. Vegas is strange like this. It could be really expensive or really cheap. I'm gonna go $299,900.
I'm saying $321,900.
Ooh, we're tight.
Oh man, that's close today. 315,000. Joel's a little closer.
Ooh, good. You overpaid though.
By $6 grand, yeah.
I'm negotiating for the Scorpions. Way to throw the little wrench in there with not the $1 billion houses. I kind of like it.
I do too.
We knew this. We're like, hey, wait a minute. That looks like a house I've seen before. But yeah, if this is close enough to the Strip, this would be a great one to buy. And you would rent this out for $15,000 to $2,000 a week for families that want to come visit Vegas, if you're ever allowed to go visit places again.
But this is a perfect example. It says new flooring, new this, new that. This is like, going on listing appointments or with you, Justin, and people are like, should we spend the money and replace this carpet? No, most likely no.
If you do this,
let the buyer do it, because someone's going to choose that floor and spend $6 grand on it, and it's not going to bring any value to the house.
They did the same
and it's installed wrong too.
Yeah, they did the same thing on this one. Flooring installers, if you're out there, let me know, because you would go crazy if you saw that. I know you would. So see, same here, same, all the lines in a row. Terrible. Doesn't look good. Don't like it. Thanks, game show host. Appreciate you running that one through for us.
Anytime.
All right. I think that was pretty much it this week. We wanted to get quick. You have a possession in half an hour, so we got to get you out there.
There's another. We look on your notes there. There's one more discussion, I think, isn't there? Or are we skipping?
We're going to talk about that for next week. The low ball offers.
No. The
Oh, yeah. I totally forgot about this. Oh, geez. I went right over it. Yeah, we ran into this a few times in the last little bit here. What buyer's agent should be able to see in a house before you pay for an inspection. We just ran into it where people are like surprised by inspections and they're like, oh, can't believe this is how bad this house is. And, I walk through houses and people look at the furniture and they look at maybe the windows and they open the fridge and that's cool. And that's very pretty. I'm sitting here like a weird person, just like staring up at ceilings and looking for cracks and explaining scissor trusses to people and going down and like opening the furnace. So like I do this mini inspection if I feel like my client has any interest in the place, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they don't have any interest, I don't typically do that. Like we walk in, they're like, hate it, like boom, let's go then, no big deal. But once they start to show interest and they're like, I love it. Ooh, this is what I can see my Christmas tree here. Then it's like, all right, time to start, moving rugs around, seeing what's going on in this house. So, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, to me, I do the same thing. Like if there's some interest in a house, I'm interested in the guts of a house. Everything else can be changed, but the guts are what is important. So I usually make a beeline to the mechanical room. I want to see the hot water tank, what it is. I want to see the age of the furnace. I want to see what kind of plumbing it has, if it's galvanized piping, PEX or poly B. I want to see what kind of wiring it is. Is it aluminum, copper? Is it knob and tube? If it's the age of the house, I want to see all of that stuff because those are hard to change. And
Yes.
Most people don't think about that stuff. So, yeah, I mean, your agent should be able to tell you what kind of a truss system it is, what kind of wood and framing is used. They should be able to tell you that stuff because if you're waiting for the home inspector to tell you that stuff, it's going to cost you $550 to find out to get to that stage. If we can save you some money and cross it off of the list beforehand.
And I would say I love a lot of the home inspectors in town, but some are panic driven people. Like they're like, this has asbestos tiles, therefore you'll die. And you're like, no, they've been here for 50 years and they're actually encased in a urethane and you have to crack them open and breathe the insides if that's what you want. Here's the remedies that we've done in the past. And also, is it, because you correct me, is it the 10 by 10s are the
8 by 8?
The 8 by 8s are the asbestos typically.
Usually, yeah.
You walk into a basement that has the 12 by 12 linoleum looking tiles. You'll see those in like your grandma's house. And they're like, oh, that's asbestos. You're like, no, you should get that one tested because depending on the year it was made, might not be. So you end up getting into a very stressful situation. You just got your financing approved. You just paid someone $500. They're doing an inspection. And then they tell you there's asbestos and your babies will die. And you're like, well, I don't want this house anymore. You need to prep yourself ahead of time on like, what are the things that might come up on this inspection? Hopefully you've pre-negotiated a ton of that in, right? So I have a good example. We just did one for a client in Nanton, and roof isn't great. The roof, you walk up, you're like, wow, that roof's not good. But they like the house. So on negotiations, we're not going to hide it that we saw the roof is bad. We're just going to negotiate. Hey, we know this roof's going to cost us $8,000. What can we do to make up the difference on the price, right? And we got it done, right? And now when the inspector goes there this next week, they're going to mention the roof, but we're going to go, yeah, we know, we got that, right? And I think that's the most important part is understanding it so you are either comfortable or you didn't write an offer in the first place, because there's a lot of stress writing an offer on a place you don't want anymore.
That's right. And there's a lot of hidden costs with things that you can see from your mechanical room. Like for instance, South Side houses, typically 50s built, maybe earlier if you're in London Road, maybe a little bit later if you're going further south or further east. But a lot of those had original gravity furnaces or original furnaces, original ducting. And back then they would use asbestos tape to tape all of the lines on your ductwork.
Yeah.
Well, if you're going to be changing your furnace out from the old gravity to a forced air or changing your ductwork, you need to be aware that asbestos tape is there and it should be remediated properly, which can cost a lot of money. Yeah. So, if you're going through and it's like, oh, this 1953 house needs a new furnace because it's original. Well, there's going to be asbestos tape that needs to be remediated as well. So it's not just the cost of the furnace anymore. You need to know that going in, because what if the inspector doesn't go over that with you?
Right. Well, and depends on how much work you're going to do. I mean, this is all stuff that's just in the back of our heads. Like you and I are like, yeah, of course. But, and I've had it where you have an old furnace, but a good duct system, but it has asbestos tape. So you're not going to change the ducting system. But what they've been using is they use oh my gosh, what's the word? An epoxy, and they epoxy the tape. And so that seals the tape, boom, that's not going to go anywhere. And now you replace your furnace. So for a few dollars, you got the tape remediated, because if you remove it, that's when you're going to have to get someone in there, like Myer, for example, would do some sort of asbestos remediation where they come in there and they take it all out. This saves you a lot of money, and they charge a ton because it's so regulated. So you want to kind of.
Another good example, sorry, again, we're beating a dead horse, but poly B. People may not know this. Poly B is a type of plumbing. It's gray. In the States, there's multi-$100 million class action lawsuit against this company. It's no longer used anymore. We use it in we've used it in Canada. We don't have the issues that they have because we use it a little different. We don't have the fail rate in Canada that they do in the States, but there's some insurance companies that will not touch poly B with a 10-foot pole. They're few and far between, but I've had it happen. So when I walk through a 90s house with a client and I see poly B, I mention it to them just because this may be a problem with your insurance company. So before we even write an offer on this house, we want to make sure that they're okay with it. And if they're not, we want to find an insurance company who is okay with that poly B being existing. So those are good things to know, because again, like you said, on possession day or right before possession day, you're getting insurance on your house and insurance won't touch you because there's poly B. Well, now you're running around like a chicken with your hair on fire. I think I put two in there. Anyway, you're running around trying to put out this fire when we could have had that addressed 2 weeks ago. So ask your buyer's agent these questions.
Yeah. Poly B, I've understood to be, in the States, they would let it sit in the sun a little bit, like, because typically it was in warmer climates. So the plumber would show up, drop his tools outside, it would sit in the sun even for an hour or so, and it would just shrink them just enough. So when they put their little grip or PEX clamps on them and clamp them closed, it would look solid. But then over time, the pressure of the pipe, because your pipe, if it has no water in it, and then you turn on, it pressurizes, so it just jumps a little. And every once in a while in an old house, you hear like, that's just like, a screw that's come loose. So when the pipe would move, the seal would just move, and then one day it would just go bang, and then all of a sudden your house is flooding, right? Because there's just water flying through. So that was the problem. Anyway, so all that knowledge is in our heads, and that's what you got to look for. So make sure when you are looking with an agent, you don't have to be using us, but we'd love it if you were. If you're using another agent, are they pointing out a lot of good things for you and like giving you a lot of information? If they're like, oh, I love the paint color, okay, you can do that. You gotta dive into these homes. People are trying to sell you their home, and we all know not every home is gonna be perfect. So you gotta look for the things that they might be aware of, but they're not like, well, it's not a big deal, I'm not gonna talk about it. But it could cost you. And we're talking about poly B. I had poly B in that Coledale rental I had, and it was only from the water tank to the washer and dryer, which is only like a 10-foot run. So it was, $100, and it was fixed. The problem would be if it's throughout the whole house, then what do you do there, right? So, there's some little fixes and little things, but anyway, that's a good one. We want to talk about that because we've been surprised by some inspections. We had someone talking about like siding on an entire house was shot, and we're like, I didn't notice that. So you gotta I don't know, a 12-year-old house having shot siding didn't seem right, but that's what the inspector said. And so you got to be careful that you're looking for all these little things as well. So thanks for reminding me about that. So if you have any questions about looking at houses, what we are looking for and how we work, feel free to put a comment in. If you're getting ready to buy, we'll take you through the whole process of like, how do I get approved for mortgage? When do we start looking at houses? What houses do we look at? How can I look at houses? What times of the day? Blah, blah, blah. And then once you're in the house, there's 1,000 more questions. So Joel, myself, or anyone else on our team, there's 8 of us on the team, can show you that anytime. So any other final thoughts, Joel? Nothing.
No, I've got a long day of talking ahead of me, so I'm going to conserve my thoughts.
Your thoughts. Okay. Yeah. Ditto. It feels like Friday. I don't know why, but I know it's only Thursday. So that means I have Friday tomorrow. Oh man, it's just a busy week. So
I'm off to Calgary tomorrow. I don't know if I told you that.
No.
Hey Justin, I'm off to Calgary tomorrow.
Okay, that's okay. Go ahead. All right. Well, I think that'll wrap us up here for the day. So if you have any questions at all, like I said, leave a comment below. Visit us online at viewlethbridge.com and drop us a line there on the contact us page. Yeah. And if you like this one, like, share it with some friends. We've had a lot of people viewing it. We had almost 1,000 people view the last one or something crazy like that. So we're getting a lot of people out there. So it's pretty sweet to see. So if you have any questions, Justin from Lethbridge Real Estate, Joel from Lethbridge Real Estate, we will help you out. Talk to you guys next week. See ya.
See ya.